This is the Giants Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Francisco Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E. Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, or maybe from some of these other Locked On Sports postcasts we do. We also do the Locked On Warriors postcast and Locked On 49ers postcast as well. And man, do I wish we had one of those two teams to talk about tonight besides the San Francisco Giants, because again, they continue to play uninspiring baseball. Another loss, this time to the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field. Christian Koss appeared to have a solo home run to tie the game in the 8th inning, but anything that can happen will happen to this Giants team right now. Fan interference turned the would-be home run into a ground rule double, and the Giants were unable to score in that inning. A couple very questionable, flat-out bad strike calls to Elliot Ramos really took the bat out of his hand and killed the Giants' scoring chances. Meanwhile, Logan Webb, again, excellent, but yet another one of his great starts is wasted. And this is just a theme now. Logan Webb being wasted by the San Francisco Giants. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Giants YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're tuning in, we appreciate it. Make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. My guy, Ben Kaspick, always does a great job. And this, what I just cannot... I'm going to try not to crash out on this show, all right, man? Like, I've just been sitting here screaming at my television for the last 2 hours watching the Giants attempt to play baseball. And I say attempt because they can't do many of the little things that you need to do to win baseball games. They just can't do them. Like, I mean, they are making huge, just mental mistakes time and time and time again. Yet another error again today. I mean, this team just seems lost. I mean, it seems so different, night and day different from the team that we saw at the beginning of the season that played great defense, that won games by doing all these little things well. So then when you needed a break, generally the Giants were doing enough of those small things right that you'd kind of put yourself in position to get one of those good breaks. We talked a lot in the beginning of the season about how just putting the ball in play, making things happen, not striking out so much, drawing some walks, like manufacturing runs, making good decisions on the base paths, making the plays you're supposed to make in the field. The Giants aren't doing any of these things right now. And to put the cherry on top of all that, now you got the ump show taking things away from the Giants. And that brings me to today's turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And there were a lot of things that went wrong for the Giants in this game. We could have pointed to a few of them, but the one that stands out the most was in that 8th inning, the top of the 8th inning, after the D-backs take a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th. The Giants had tied it up in the top of the 7th. D-backs responded, which is a thing that the Giants have been letting happen a lot lately, by the way. When the Giants seem to strike, their opponent just strikes right back. And that was something that the Giants were actually very good at doing in the beginning of the year when they would jump out to a lead, or it would be kind of stagnant for a while, a pitcher's duel. And then when the other team would strike, the Giants would respond immediately. That's not happening anymore at all. There's no sense of confidence in this team that when they go back into hit, that they're actually going to do anything, that they're actually going to put up any runs on the board. And today, and like I said, it's completely flipped. The Diamondbacks today, immediately, as soon as the Giants score any runs, I mean, there are only 2 runs that they scored in this game. Both of them came in the 7th inning, and the Diamondbacks immediately responded. The Giants tied it up in the top of the 7th. D-backs tie it up in the bottom of the 7th, and the Giants go back in the top of the 8th looking to make an impact. And man, you have Christian Koss just give one a ride to left field. And I thought off the bat that one was going to go a little bit further up into the bleachers, but it kind of hangs out near the left field wall. Left fielder for the Diamondbacks jumps up to try and make the play on it. But a fan in a D-backs shirt, by the way, makes the biggest idiot move you can make if you are sitting in a seat like that at any stadium, in any baseball stadium in the entire country. And he reaches his glove sort of into the field of play. It's hard to tell from the angles that we had if he actually reached over the wall and into the field of play. He definitely caught the ball. Basically, it looks to me just above that yellow line. Like if he had just dropped his glove straight down, I think it would have probably hit the top of the wall, meaning that ball's probably gone. I think this was a home run. Instead, they initially rule Christian Koss out on the play. They say that the fan interfered with the left fielder's glove, which upon further review, because Bob Melvin challenged it, they ruled that it wasn't fan interference in the sense of he didn't hit the glove, which it could have then been ruled an out. But instead, they changed it to a ground rule double. They say that the ball would not have gone out. The replay room in New York does have some angles that we aren't going to see on the telecast. So maybe they did have a better angle than us, and they could see that this ball wasn't going to go out of the stadium. But for the Giants to have a run taken away like this, plus, I mean, if he doesn't make that catch, that ball hits off the wall, squirts around somewhere, maybe Koss, he's got wheels. I mean, he's probably going to end up with more than a double if he doesn't make that play and the ball doesn't go over the fence. And that kind of changes the complexion of that inning because you still only have one out. All you need is a fly ball to be into the outfield to be able to score him from third. Or maybe, like I said, Koss has wheels. Maybe he gets around all four bags on that play. Instead, Raphy Devers comes up and strikes out. And this is starting to be a problem now. I do think that Raphy Devers is going to eventually get the ship right. But right now, I think this is the Giants just rubbing off on Raphy Devers. Hitting's contagious in good ways and bad ways. When you have everybody on your team, like just going through the order and you're batting around and everybody's hitting and it just feels like the carousel's moving, it's kind of not easy, but it becomes a little bit, you take some of that pressure off yourself. You go up there and you just look for something to hit. You just kind of get into a groove with things and you just fall in line. It makes hitting easier in a situation like that. Conversely, when nobody's hitting, you put way more pressure on yourself to be the hero, to be the guy that breaks the slump, to come up with a big hit, to outshine everybody else that is just sucking it up lately. And I think that's what Raphy's kind of doing. He's trying to make an impact on this new team and this new environment that he's in front of a new fan base. And he's pressing just like everybody else in this lineup is. He knows what the pressure is since he's been here. He's not immune or oblivious to the narratives. Like he definitely sees people calling the Giants playoff contenders at this point. I mean, if they don't make the playoffs, this is a disappointment for this season. The way they started out, the way that they were playing when they traded for Raphy Devers, they were tied for first place in the National League West. Now they're like 8 games out, and it has only been basically 2 weeks. So after the Raphy Devers strikeout, you got Elliot Ramos up there, and let me tell you, strike 2 and strike 3 in this at bat made me wish for robo-umps. I have been kind of going that direction for a little while, which is weird because I am generally speaking an old school type minded person when it comes to sports. Like I don't like a lot of changes in my sports, regardless of sport. I hate that the NFL has become this thing now where it's just a track meet and you can't touch anybody. I hate that basketball has become a freedom of movement type stuff where you can't even play defense anymore. And generally speaking, I hate all the changes that Rob Manfred has made. The Manfred man on second base, dumb. The bigger bases, like what the hell does that even really do? It seems like a pointless change, a lateral move. And now you have robo-umps, which in my mind, initially, on surface level, a guy like me, you'd think you're probably going to hate this. But let me tell you what, after watching some of the things that I've seen and this Elliot Ramos at bat to end the top of the 8th inning in particular, I'm all in. This has completely got me on board at this point. Taking the bat out of Elliot Ramos's hand in that situation is inexcusable. I do not understand how you can just leave a situation like that up to human error. You have such advanced video tracking technology in today's society across sports. If a tennis match can determine if like a single fiber of that ball was on the line or not, then we should be able to determine if a ball that was, 3-4 inches outside of the strike zone, not just one, but 2 of them in the same at bat, were a strike or a ball. And this just infuriating moment. I mean, yes, it is close enough that the old adage, you got to swing if it's close, kind of applies. But this was a ball. This was 2 good takes by Elliot Ramos. The first one that he called a strike was probably more egregious than the second one. but just inexcusable. And Bob Melvin came out after the bottom of the eighth inning, in between the bottom of the eighth and top of the ninth, so a whole half inning later, and started arguing about that call. Now, it was the last out of the inning, so he probably had to take a minute, go back into the dugout, assess what everyone was saying throughout the dugout, and go down into the video room, see what happened. And after he saw those two pitches, I'm sure that's what incensed him. And Bob Melvin, let's be real, didn't have any other choice than to react the way that he did, because if you're a manager, you have to do that. You have to go to bat for your guys. And it kind of bothers me that Bob Melvin waited until this situation to do it. This team has needed some kind of life. Like that's a pretty predictable move by most managers. Your team's floundering, they're hitting a skid. You need a spark of life. Go out there and rile the troops up. Like, argue a call on behalf of your guys and get tossed and get the players motivated to do something. Bob Melvin waited so long for this moment. I mean, this should have happened 3-4 games ago that he was doing stuff like this. And instead, did that really inspire this team? Didn't really look like it, man, based on what that ninth inning looked like. Dominic Smith strikes out, Willy Adames grounds out, and Jung-Hoo Lee flies out to center field. End game right there. And this is just, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic watching the Giants go in and night out, get down by a run or two before they can put one on the board. And I'm feeling like I should just turn this thing off and start the Locked On Giants postcast in the fourth blanket inning, because the Giants are lifeless. They're hapless at the plate. They have no plan of attack. And this team is beyond frustrating at this point. I mean, it is absolutely infuriating to watch this team try to play baseball. We got more to get into. We got to give somebody a player of the game. I'm probably going to be Logan Webb. Who else on this team would deserve that? And we also got to get into what you'll be talking about after this one. Both of those things coming up next on the Locked On Giants postcast. Today's show is sponsored by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? You know the Giants aren't gonna, and with FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburnt at the beach. And if you're looking for some bets, go ahead and take the opposing starting pitcher, whatever their strikeout line is, hammer that over. Until the Giants prove me otherwise, that is my bet for every single Giants game. Hasn't proved me wrong the last couple games. So we're just going to keep riding the wave, because this Giants team, until they prove to me that they can have an actual plan of attack at the plate, we're riding opposing starting pitcher strikeouts. And if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can now just bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today I'm trying my best not to crash out on the Locked On Giants postcast, man, because this team has me so infuriated watching them try to play baseball that it's hard to deter me from wanting to watch baseball. Like, I'm that kind of guy who, if there's a random 11 a.m. start, I'll throw it on in the background while I'm working. I don't care if it's Pirates, Brewers, or whatever. Throw out any two teams. Pirates, Marlins. Sure, I'll flip it on and I'll watch. Maybe we'll see something fun. I'm just always watching baseball. I love the everyday kind of companionship that baseball offers. I love baseball. The Giants make me not want to watch baseball at all. They make me want to turn the TV off and go dunk my head into a bucket of water until I pass out or something, because this team is so maddening to watch. It genuinely, like, my blood pressure, my resting blood pressure is through the roof these last couple of weeks just from how bad this team has been. And it would be one thing if this team was expected to be bad and then they ended up being bad. Like, okay, that's what we thought they were going to be. The old, they are who we thought they were. That would apply in that situation. This Giants team, we had expectations for this team. They were in first place in the National League West. Go out and trade for Raphy Devers. And here I was, and I'm sure a lot of other Giants fans were sitting in the same position thinking, there's no way in hell this team gets worse from where they are right now. No way in hell you go out and trade for a superstar slugger and somehow slump immediately afterwards. This is absolutely going to propel the Giants into a nice stretch before the break. They'll keep going after the All-Star game, and they will ride into the postseason, maybe even contending for the National League West title is what we were kind of thinking at that point. That would be far-fetched, but we figured they'd at least be in like that second wild card spot, like firmly in the wild card conversation. Now the Giants are completely out of the playoff picture as things stand right now. This team they're 1-6 in their last 7 games, and you have played every team that you've played is under 500, save for the Diamondbacks, who are now sitting at exactly 500 with their win tonight over the Giants. And it's entirely on the hitting. It's entirely on this offense. Jung-Hoo Lee, this last month, 143 batting average. Raphy Devers, since he was traded to the Giants, batting 200. Elliot Ramos, even, he's been the hallmark of consistency for this team. He's batting 240 in the month of July, so it's not nearly as awful as everybody else, but that's far below what he's been doing for the rest of this season. And Willy Adames, 216 this last month, which sounds bad, but that's actually an improvement over what he was doing earlier in the season. Still not anywhere close to where the Giants expected him to be when they gave him that massive, massive, massive contract in this last offseason. It's entirely on this offense. And yes, Matt Chapman, it was reported today that he could potentially make his return for the entire upcoming homestand. But if you think that Matt Chapman by himself is going to turn this entire offensive around, man, do you have another thing coming? Because there's no chance that one guy being added into the mix is going to change things dramatically. It is everybody on this team that flat out sucks right now. There's no other way to put it. They flat out suck at the plate. I mean, this is pathetic level baseball to be watching. You had one big moment today, exactly one big moment for the Giants, and it was Tyler Fitzgerald roping a double to score 2 runs in that 7th inning. That was great. Good moment for Fitz. Awesome that he had 2 hits in his return with the big league club. Love to see that. But that's not nearly enough, and it's not going to be consistent. You can't rely on Tyler Fitzgerald like that every night. The guys you're supposed to be able to rely on absolutely failing the Giants. I mean, just way to S the bed. I mean, the whole team is just letting everybody down. And you know what? Today, Logan Webb looked mad, dude. Like, he looked angry out there on the mound. He looked frustrated. And I don't know who would it be if you're in Logan Webb's position. You're going out there every game, 100 plus pitches, every game, 3 runs or less, every game, 6 or more strikeouts, and you can't buy a win. I mean, Logan Webb might be better at the dish than half of these other Giants position players right now, even though dude probably hasn't taken a swing since his last at bat, or since his home run that when he became the last pitcher in Major League Baseball to hit a home run in a game other than Shohei Ohtani is, you know, if you still qualify him as a pitcher. But Logan Webb, I mean, just absolutely let down 100% of the time in his last month. Logan Webb has had barely any run support at all. The Giants just cannot do anything to lift this guy up, and he's out there doing everything he can to help the Giants win a game. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and give Logan Webb today's player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And I don't know who else you're going to give it to. This is kind of by default. I mean, Webby was great today. Don't get me wrong. He did give up 7 hits, which is kind of a lot, but this is who Logan Webb is, right? Like, he's going to give up hits, but he's going to scatter them. He did give up 3 earned runs, which is slightly more than he's been giving up lately. Only had 1 walk and 7 strikeouts, which is exactly what he's been doing. 2.61 ERA on the season now in 6 1/3 innings pitched today. With the loss, Logan Webb falls to 7-6, which is inexplicable for how good those numbers are that I just read to you on his season. A 2.61 ERA, and this guy is sitting at 500. I mean, we got to find a way to support Logan Webb. He's already well over 100 innings pitched. He's got 127 strikeouts in 113 innings pitched, a whip of 1.14, ERA of 2.61 in 18 starts, and he has 7 wins. That is entirely on this offense for letting him down time and time and time again. Before we get on out of here, we got to get into what you'll be talking about after this one.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And what you're going to be talking about, you're going to be picking up the phone, you're going to be dialing up your parents, your grandparents, whatever person in your life that is maybe tired, maybe a little bit older, maybe moving a little bit slower, and is generally a little frustrated, because you're going to want to ask them what they're taking for their blood pressure medication, because we're all going to collectively need to start taking it if this Giants team doesn't find a way to turn this blank around. I mean, I am just infuriated watching this team. I feel like this team makes steam come out of my ears, and I can see it while it's happening. Like, I feel like I'm going to blow up trying to talk about this team without using any 4-letter words I'm not supposed to use while I'm doing my job. You know what I mean? But really, like, you're going to have to figure out a way to at least I am, to calm yourself down while watching this Giants team, because we aren't even halfway through the season, or we are about halfway through the season. We just passed the halfway point. They've played 85 games. So they're just barely past the halfway mark of the season. All-Star break's right around the corner. We got a lot of baseball left to play. It's going to be a lot of suffering until the end of the season. Even if the Giants find a way to turn this around, even if they do, which I'm not sure they can, but if they do, it's still going to be painful. Like, no matter what it's going to look like the rest of the season, if the Giants make the playoffs or don't, it's all pain, just varying levels of pain. So let's all hope that we can all find somebody in our life who can guide us to the proper blood pressure medication going forward. Maybe some anti-anxiety medicine to take while we're watching this game, because I don't even understand what the hell I'm watching when I'm looking at the Giants anymore. This is the most frustrating stretch of baseball by a mile that they've played this season, and I don't expect it to end anytime soon. By the way, this so-called easy part of the schedule that the Giants have had recently, it's going to come to an end pretty soon. You got the Diamondbacks in this 4-game series, and you do get the A's for a nice little 3-game series as well. But then guess what? You get the Phillies and the Dodgers to end this first half of the season before the All-Star break. So things aren't really going to get easier at that point. It's time to win games right now. You aren't going to win games against the Phillies and the Dodgers if you're playing this brand of baseball against those two teams. I don't know what team in Major League Baseball you are going to beat when you're playing this brand of baseball, frankly. There's every other team in Major League Baseball can beat the Giants right now. There's not a single team coming in here. Do you feel confident about this A's series? Like, do you feel confident going into that series that the Giants are going to win it? I don't. I certainly don't. That's all the time that we got for you guys here on the Locked On Giants postcast. I need to go outside and take a nice little safety meeting or something like that to calm myself down. You know what I'm talking about. So that's all the time that we got for you guys today. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. This Giants team is pissing me off, man. I know it's pissing all of you off too. So hopefully they turn it around tomorrow. You got 3 more chances against the Diamondbacks, but it's Zach Gallen going tomorrow for the D-backs. So we'll see how that goes for the Giants. My prediction, not good. Not good. That's all the time we got today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.